Okay, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on which coast you're on. Coach Kevin here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing I'd like to do is share my screen with you. And for those of you that are here for the very first time, point out a couple things. Number one, we have a Facebook group. We have a Facebook group that coincides with our meetup. It has exactly the same name. I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. Again, the same name as our meetup group. I want to be rich, and I do not apologize for it, or I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. So in your own Facebook, what you can do is go into the search function, start typing that in, and you'll find us. The other way you can find us real quick is to go into facebook.com/groups/ I want to be really rich. So come find us on Facebook, come join the group. Why would you want to do that? Well, a few different reasons. Reason number one, when we have something special to announce, we will typically pin it to the top related to the group. So you can go ahead and get those announcements. The other thing, as long as I remember, and so far I typically do, to record these Zoom meetings, they go ahead and when we're done, they get posted here. See, you can see there's yesterday's and the day before. And if you keep on going down, you'll find that sometimes people have questions or comments. So this is a place outside of the 45 minutes or so we have each day, Monday through Friday, to interact with each other and maybe ask some additional questions if you have any. Also, it's where I'll post different files and things if we're in the process of studying something and show you where to find it so you can get a copy for yourself. Um, for instance, sometimes we'll be in a book, and the book might take several days as we go through it and take it apart, dissect it, and learn from it. Sometimes it might be something that we just do for one day. So somewhere between those, I like to find a way to get you access to the articles or the books, and I like to find free copies if I can do so, and that's possible. That being said, we are in the process right now of studying a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by an author named Joseph Murphy. So I want to share with you and tell you how to get your own copy right now. Easiest way is to type into Google, like I had done, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind PDF. And then organically, I don't know if it's the first or second or third thing that'll pop up, but one of them will pop up. And at the top of it, it's going to say www.logoscenter.org. And then it's going to say downloads, the power of your subconscious mind, and so forth. I don't know why they chose to make it available. It doesn't really matter. But I did click on that one, and this is what popped up. This isn't that page, the first page that popped up, but a copy of the book popped up. And what's really cool about it is I didn't have to give any information for it. So once it popped up, what I did is I hit download, and then I downloaded it to my computer. So you can do the same thing I did and get a copy for yourself. I have a Kindle copy already. I probably have a paperback copy lying around because I have read this book before a couple, two or three different times over the years. I just haven't read it in a few years, maybe even several years. But I brought it back out because as we've been going along, we've been working together as a meetup group now since early November. And we've gone through different materials and we've had a good time, and people have been learning a lot. And we've had a lot of good discussion when we open up for comments, questions, answers, things like that. And what I found is that most people don't truly understand the power of their mind and the power of their subconscious mind. And yes, people want to learn about the law of attraction, which is terrific, which, by the way, isn't the only law that governs how you manifest money and wealth in your life. And that happens to be the focus of this group, is manifesting more money and more wealth in your life. So law of attraction is a subsidiary law to a law called the law of vibration. And there's actually 7 different laws that are required to be obeyed if we want to manifest all the money and wealth we want in our lives. So the previous book to this, we went through a book that discussed the laws. And now we're going through a book that discusses how your mind works, because if your subconscious mind is not in sync with what it is that you are trying to manifest in your life, trying the goals that you're trying to reach, the things that you want to have happen, the things you either want to be, do, or have, if those things aren't happening for you, or you feel like each time you try to accomplish something like that, you're coming up against like an invisible enemy or something, you feel it's been difficult over the years to manifest what you want, that's because your subconscious mind has something programmed in it that's in opposition to what it is that you want. Once we learn how to reprogram the subconscious mind to work for us instead of against us, it actually makes receiving what we want in our lives way, 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 way easier. Um, I'd almost call it a piece of cake. Okay. Some of you might not believe that because you've worked so hard and tried so hard to make things happen. But I'll tell you that it isn't that hard when your subconscious mind is programmed to work to help you receive what you want versus programmed to work against you receiving what you want. And you might be thinking to yourself, I didn't do that. Well, maybe you personally didn't, but you allowed into your subconscious mind through society, through family members, through parents, through repetition of them telling you things through the media, through social media, through television, whatnot. You've allowed programming to come in some way, shape, or form. We all have. Okay. And if we receive what we want in life pretty easily, and we have been most of our life, it's because the programs in our subconscious mind aren't in opposition to what it is that we want in our lives. If we've had a difficult time, manifesting the amount of money we want, building the wealth that we want, having the relationships we want, the health we want, whatever it is that we happen to really want that seems to be elusive to us, again, it is because you have a program going on or multiple programs that are in opposition to what you want that are running in your subconscious mind and have put you on autopilot to unfortunately not receive what you want, but to receive the opposite. So again, understanding how this all works will help you have a new awareness, and that new awareness helps you make better decisions. And you will also be taught how to reprogram your subconscious mind. So we're currently on page 44 of this book of 193 pages. So if you went ahead and downloaded it, you can follow along that way. The other thing is I'm going to leave my screen like this for now, so you can follow along by just watching the screen. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start reading where we're at. You can always go back into the Facebook group once you join us and get caught up. You could download the book and get caught up by reading it yourself up to this point. And so you have multiple ways that you can get caught up if you so choose to, or you can just jump on in right where we are and enjoy the ride. When we're done reading, I like to leave somewhere around 10 or 15 minutes for you guys to have the opportunity to share whatever you want to share. It's your opportunity to share your comments, your aha moments, the things you've been learning. It's your opportunity to share how you've had success in manifesting money and wealth in your life, utilizing the law of attraction and doing it intentionally. Or maybe you did it unintentionally and now you realize how you actually made it happen and you're working on doing it intentionally and trying to learn how to make that a part of your everyday life, manifesting what you want versus the opposite of that. Well, the other thing we'll allow you to do is ask questions. So for right now, I'm not going to pay any attention to chat or anything like that. Matter of fact, I really don't. What I do is open it up for you guys to actually talk. And we will go ahead and do that a little bit from now. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and jump on in and get going with where we're at and get probably a quick sip of water right before I do that. Okay. One universal healing principle. It is a well-known fact that all the various schools of healing bring about documented cures of the most wonderful character. The most obvious conclusion that strikes your mind is that there must be some underlying organ and process that is common to them all. Indeed, there is. The organ of healing is the subconscious mind, and the process of healing is faith. Think deeply about these fundamental truths. You possess mental functions that have been distinguished by designating one the conscious mind and the other the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is constantly amenable to the power of suggestion. Your subconscious mind has complete control of the functions, conditions, and sensations of your body. You surely know what symptoms or that symptoms of almost any disease can be induced by hypnotic subjects by suggestion, in hypnotic subjects by suggestion. For example, a subject in the hypnotic state can develop a high temperature, flushed face, or chills according to the nature of the suggestion given. You can suggest to the person that he is paralyzed and cannot walk, and it will be so. You can hold a cup of cold water under the nose of the hypnotic subject and tell him, "This is full of pepper, smell it." He will sneeze violently and repeatedly. What do you think caused him to sneeze? The water or the suggestion? If someone tells you he is allergic to Timothy grass, you can place a synthetic flower or an empty glass in front of his nose when he is in a hypnotic state and tell him it is Timothy grass. He will develop his usual allergic symptoms. This shows us that the cause of the symptoms is in the subconscious mind. Curing the symptoms also takes place in the subconscious mind. Different schools of medicine, such as osteopathy, chiropractic, qigong, acupuncture, and naturopathy, all produce remarkable healings. So do the rites and ceremonies of the various religious beliefs throughout the world. It is obvious that all these healings are brought about through the subconscious mind, the only healer there is. Notice how the subconscious mind heals a cut on your finger. It knows exactly how to do it. The doctor dresses the wound and says, nature heals it. But nature is nothing more than another name for natural law, the law of the subconscious mind. The instinct of self-preservation is the first law of nature, and self-preservation is the foremost function of the subconscious mind. Your strongest instinct is the most potent of all autosuggestions. Excuse me, another drink of water there. Widely different theories. Many different theories of healing have been advanced by different religious sects and prayer therapy groups. There are a great number who claim that because their practice produces results, their theory therefore must be right. As we have seen in this chapter, this cannot be correct. As you know, there are many varieties of healing. Franz Anton Mesmer, 1734 through 1815, an Australian physician who practiced in Paris, discovered that by applying magnets to a diseased body, he could cure the disease miraculously. He also performed cures with various other pieces of glass and metal. Later, he abandoned the use of these objects in favor of passing his hands over the patient's body. He claimed that the real source of his cures was what he called animal magnetism. He theorized that some mysterious magnetic substance was transmitted from the healer's hands to the patient. Mesmer lent his name to this method of treating disease, which came to be called mesmerism. Today we know it as hypnotism. Other physicians, jealous of Mesmer's success, claimed that all his healings were due to suggestion and nothing else. When pressed, however, they had to admit that they did not know how this power of suggestion created such amazing effects. All of these groups, psychiatrists, psychologists, osteopaths, chiropractors, physicians, and religious groups of every variety, are using the one universal power resident in the subconscious mind. Each may proclaim the healings are due to their theory, but the truth is far different. The process of all healing is a definite, positive mental attitude, an inner attitude or a way of thinking called faith. Healing is due to a confident expectancy that acts as a powerful suggestion to the subconscious mind, releasing its healing potency. One person does not heal by a different power than another. It is true that both may have their own theories or methods, but there's only one process of healing, and that is faith. There is only one healing power, namely your subconscious mind. Select whatever theory, belief, and method that calls out to you. You can rest assured if you have faith, you will get results. Let me repeat this. Select whatever theory, belief, and method that out to you. So follow your intuition, your inspiration, your revelation. You can rest assured if you have faith, you will get results. Views of Paracelsus. Somebody is off of mute right now. If you could put yourselves on mute, that would be terrific. Thank you. Philippus Paracelsus, a famous Swiss alchemist and physician who lived from 1493 to 1541, was a great healer in his day. He stated what is now an obvious scientific fact when he said, whether the object of your faith be real or false, you will nevertheless obtain the same effects. Thus, if I believed in St. Peter's statue, as I should have believed in St. Peter himself, I shall obtain the same effects that I should have obtained from St. Peter. But that is superstition. Faith, however, produces miracles. And whether it is true or false faith, it will always produce the same wonders. The view of Paracelsus was echoed in the 16th century by Pietro Pomponazzi, an Italian philosopher who wrote, "We can easily conceive the marvelous effects which confidence and imagination can produce, particularly when both qualities are reciprocated between the subjects and the person who influences them. The cures attributed to the influence of certain relics are the effect of their imagination and confidence. Quacks and philosophers know that if the bones of any skeleton were put in place of the saint's bones, the sick would nonetheless experience beneficial effects if they believed they were veritable relics. Think what this implies. If you believe in the power of saints' bones, or in the healing properties of certain waters, or, like my Australian relative, in the marvelous or the miraculous effects of a fragment of wood, you would get results because the powerful suggestion given to your subconscious mind. It is the latter that does the healing. Bernheim's experiments. Hippolyte Bernheim was professor of medicine in Nancy, France, early in the 20th century. He was one of the first to explain how physician's suggestion to the patient took effect because of the force of the subconscious mind. Bernheim relates the story of a man whose tongue was paralyzed. Every form of treatment was tried, with no success at all. Then one day, the man's doctor announced that he had learned of a new instrument that was certain to relieve his problem. The doctor then put a pocket thermometer in the patient's mouth. The patient imagined this was the instrument that was to save him. In a few moments, he cried out joyfully that he could once more move his tongue freely. Bernheim continues, among our cases, facts of the same sort will be found. A young girl came into my office having suffered from complete loss of speech for nearly 4 weeks. After making sure of the diagnosis, I told my students that loss of speech sometimes yielded instantly to electricity, which might act simply by its suggestive influence. I sent for the induction apparatus. I applied my hand over the larynx and moved a little and said, "Now you can speak aloud." In an instant, I made her say A, then B, then Maria. She continued to speak distinctly. The loss of voice had disappeared. Here, Bernheim was showing the power of faith and expectancy on the part of the patient, which acts as a powerful suggestion to the subconscious mind. Producing a blister by suggestion. Bernheim states that he produced a blister on the back of a patient's neck by applying a postage stamp and suggesting to the patient that it was fly plaster. This sort of demonstration has been confirmed by the experiments and experiences of many doctors in many parts of the world. These leave no doubt that structural changes in the body can be brought about as a result of oral suggestion to patients. The cause of bloody stigmata. Hemorrhages and bloody stigmata can be induced by means of suggestion. As a demonstration of this, Dr. M. Boru put a subject into a hypnotic trance, then gave him the following suggestion. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, after the hypnosis, you will come into my office, sit down in the armchair, and fold your arms across your chest. Your nose will then begin to bleed. This afternoon, the young man did exactly as he had been told. He crossed his arms, and several drops of blood came from his left nostril. On one occasion, the same investigator traced a patient's name on both his forearms with the dull point of an instrument while the patient was in a hypnotic trance. Baru then said, "At 4 o'clock this afternoon, you will go to sleep. Your arms will bleed along the lines I have traced, and your name will appear written on your arms in letters of blood." The patient was carefully observed that afternoon. At 4 o'clock, he fell asleep. On his left arm, the letters stood out in bright relief, and in several places there were drops of blood. Although the letters gradually faded, they were still faintly visible 3 months afterward. These facts demonstrate at once the correctness of the two fundamental propositions previously stated, namely, the constant amenability of the subconscious mind to the power of suggestion and the perfect control that the subconscious mind exercises over the functions, sensations, and conditions of the body. All the foregoing phenomena dramatize vividly abnormal conditions induced by suggestion. They are conclusive proof that as a man thinketh in his heart, his subconscious mind, so is he. Healing points in review. Remind yourself frequently that the healing power is in your subconscious mind. Know that faith is like a seed planted in the ground. It grows after its kind. Plant the idea, the seed in your mind, water and fertilize it with expectancy, and it will become manifest. The idea you have for a book, new invention, or play is real in your mind. This is why you can believe you have it now. Believe in the reality of your idea, plan, or invention, and as you do, it will become manifest. In praying for another, know that your silent inner knowing of wholeness, beauty, and perfection can change the negative patterns of the other's subconscious mind and bring about wonderful results. The miraculous healings you hear about at various shrines are due to imagination and blind faith that act on the subconscious mind, releasing the healing power. All disease originates in the mind. Nothing appears on the body unless there's a mental pattern corresponding to it. The symptoms of almost any disease can be induced in you by hypnotic suggestion. This shows you the power of your thought. There is only one process of healing, and that is faith. There is only one healing power, namely your subconscious mind. Whether the object of your faith is real or false, you will get results. Your subconscious mind responds to the thought in your mind. Look upon faith as a thought in your mind, and that will suffice. Mental healings in modern times. What is it that heals? Where is this healing power, and how can it be put to practical use? These are vital questions of deep concern to all of us. To all of them, the answer is the same. The healing power is in the subconscious mind of every person, and a changed mental attitude on the part of the sick person releases the healing power. No mental or religious science practitioner, psychologist, psychiatrist, or medical doctor ever healed a patient. Let me repeat that. No mental or religious science practitioner, psychologist, psychiatrist, or medical doctor ever healed a patient. There is an old saying, the doctor dresses the wound, but God heals it. The psychologist or psychiatrist makes effective change by removing the mental blocks in the patient so that the healing principle may be released, restoring the patient to health. In the same way, the surgeon removes the physical block, enabling the healing currents to function normally. No physician, surgeon, or mental science practitioner can legitimately claim that he or she healed the patient. The one healing power may be called by many different names: nature, life, God, creative intelligence. But in reality, these are simply different ways to refer to subconscious power. As we've already seen, there are many different ways we can use to remove the mental, emotional, and physical blocks that inhibit the flow of the healing life principle animating all of us. The healing principle resident in your subconscious mind can and will, if properly directed by you or some other person, excuse me, heal your mind and body of all disease. This healing principle operates in all people regardless of creed, color, or race. You do not have to belong to some particular church in order to use and participate in this healing process. Your subconscious will heal the burn or cut on your hand, even if you profess to be an atheist or agnostic. Modern mental healing is based on the truth that the infinite intelligence and power of your subconscious mind responds according to your faith. Mental science practitioners or ministers who follow the injunction of the Bible, that is, they go into their closet and shut the door, which means they still their minds, relax, let go, and think of the infinite healing process presence within them. They close the door of their mind to all outside distractions as well as appearances. And then they quietly and knowingly turn over their request or desire to their subconscious mind, realizing that the intelligence of their mind will answer them according to their specific needs. The most wonderful thing to know is this: imagine the end desired and feel its reality. Then the infinite life principle will respond to your conscious choice and your conscious request. Let me repeat this. The most wonderful thing to know is this: imagine the end desired and feel its reality. I'm going to repeat that again. Imagine the end desired and feel its reality. Then the infinite life principle will respond to your conscious choice and your conscious request. This is the meaning of the text: believe you have received and you shall receive. This is what the modern mental scientist does when he or she practices prayer therapy. One process of healing. There is only one universal healing principle operating through everything: the cat, the dog, the tree, the grass, the wind, the earth, for everything is alive. The life principle operates through the animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdoms as instinct and the law of growth. Because humans are consciously aware of this life principle, we can consciously direct it to bless ourselves in countless ways. There are many different approaches, techniques, and methods in using the universal power. But there is only one process of healing, which is faith. For according to your faith, it is done unto you. The law of belief. All religions of the world represent forms of belief, and these beliefs are explained in many ways. The law of life is belief. What do you believe about yourself, life, and the universe? It is done unto you as you believe. Belief is a thought in your mind that causes the power of your subconscious to be distributed in all phases of your life according to your thinking habits. You must realize that when the Bible speaks of belief, it is not talking about your belief in some ritual, ceremony, form, institution, or formula. It is talking about belief itself. The belief of your mind is simply the thought of your mind. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. It is foolish to believe in something that will hurt or harm you. Let me repeat this. It is foolish to believe in something that will hurt or harm you. Remember, it's not the thing believed in that hurts or harms you, but the belief or thought in your mind that creates the result. All your experiences, all your actions, and all the events and circumstances of your life are but reflections and reactions to your own thought. Prayer therapy is the combined function of the conscious and subconscious mind, scientifically directed. Prayer therapy is the synchronized, harmonious, and intelligent functions of the conscious and subconscious levels of mind, specifically directed for a definite purpose. In scientific prayer or prayer therapy, you must know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You trust the law of healing. Prayer therapy is sometimes referred to as mental treatment. Another term is scientific prayer. In prayer therapy, you consciously choose a certain idea, mental picture, or plan that you desire to experience. You realize your capacity to convey this idea or mental image to your subconscious by feeling the reality of the state assumed. By feeling the reality of the state assumed. As you remain faithful in your mental attitude, your prayer will be answered. Prayer therapy is a definite mental action for a definite specific purpose. Let us suppose that you decide to heal a certain difficulty by prayer therapy. You are aware that your problem or sickness, whatever it may be, must be caused by negative thoughts charged with fear and lodged in your subconscious mind. You realize that if you can succeed in cleaning or cleansing your mind of these thoughts, you will get a healing. You therefore turn to the healing power within your subconscious mind. You remind yourself of its infinite power and intelligence and its capacity to heal all conditions. As you dwell on these truths, your fear will begin to dissolve. The recollection of these truths battles and ultimately overcomes the erroneous beliefs. You give thanks for the healing that you know will come. So you're giving thanks ahead of time, as if it's already happened. You give thanks for the healing that you know will come. Then you keep your mind off the difficulty until you feel guided. I've been telling you guys this not about healing. I've been telling this about manifesting what you want to all of you. We've been talking about this a lot. Then you keep your mind off the difficulty. You keep your mind off trying to figure out the how, okay? Don't focus on the how until you feel guided, because you'll receive the inspiration, revelation, intuition to know what is the step you need to take now. After an interval, to pray again. So let me repeat this sentence, okay? You give thanks for the healing that you know will come, first sentence. Then you keep your mind off the difficulty until you feel guided, after an interval, to pray again. While you're praying, you refuse to give any power to the negative conditions or to admit for a second that the healing will not come. This attitude of mind brings about the harmonious union of the conscious and subconscious mind, which releases the healing power. Let's see. I'm going to read a little further, and then I'm going to take a little extra time today for questions and comments. So I know this is important that we continue with this right now. Faith healing, what it means, and now how blind, it says now, and how blind faith works. What is popularly known as faith healing is not the faith spoken of in the Bible, which means a knowledge of the interaction of the conscious and subconscious mind. A faith healer is one who heals without any real scientific understanding of the powers and forces involved. He or she may claim a special gift of healing, and the sick person's blind belief in him or her, or in his or her powers, may bring results. In many parts of the world, traditional healers treat their patients by dances, incantations, and invocations of spirits. A person may be healed by touching the relics of a saint, wearing special ritual garb, lighting a holy incense or candle, or drinking a mixture of brewed herbs. Anything that leads the patient to honestly believe in the method or process will make a healing more likely. Any method that causes you to move from fear and worry to faith and expectancy will heal. Many people claim that because their individual theories produce results, they must therefore be correct and true. As we have seen, this cannot be right. To illustrate how blind faith works, think back to our discussion of the Swiss physician Franz Anton Mesmer. In 1776, he claimed to have produced many cures by stroking the bodies of his patients with magnets. Later, he threw away his magnets and simply made passes with his hands at a short distance from the patient. This too worked. To explain the success of the new procedure, Mesmer evolved the theory of animal magnetism. This he held to be a fluid that pervades the universe, but is most active in human organism. He claimed that this magnetic fluid was being transmitted from his hands to the diseased bodies of his patients, and that this transfer of animal magnetism was what healed them. People flocked to him, and many wonderful cures were reported. Mesmer moved to Paris. There, the government appointed a commission to investigate his cures. Its members included prominent physicians and members of the Academy of Science, of which Benjamin Franklin was a member. After a thorough inquiry, the commission admitted that Mesmer had produced confirmed cures. It held, however, that there was no evidence to prove the correctness of his magnetic fluid theory. It suggested that the effects were due to the imagination of the patients. Soon after this, Mesmer was driven into exile. He died in 1815. Shortly afterward, Dr. James Braid of Manchester, England, undertook to show that magnetic fluid had nothing to do with the production of the healings of Dr. Mesmer. Dr. Braid discovered that patients could be thrown into hypnotic sleep by suggestion. While they were in hypnotic trance, he succeeded in producing many of the amazing phenomena that Mesmer had ascribed to animal magnetism. You can readily see that all these cures were undoubtedly brought about by the active imagination of the patients, together with a powerful suggestion of health to their subconscious minds. It is not unfair to call this blind faith, because neither the patients nor the practitioners understood how the cures were brought about. Okay, we will go ahead and, for the reading, stop there for today. And welcome, welcome. Looks like several more people joined us since we got started. First thing that I would like to say is I was thinking about it this morning and meditating, and I'm going to do this tomorrow. And so tomorrow, Christmas Eve, and I am going to do this on Christmas. Life doesn't stop as far as manifesting the things that we want in life. So if you want to join us, I will be here. I will be here tomorrow, and I'll be here Christmas at the same time. If you're not, obviously we will try our best to remember to record it, and we'll put it into the group. But if any of you during the time of 10 o'clock, it would be 10 o'clock my time in California. If you want to join us tomorrow, I'll be happy to have you. If nothing else, I'll show up by myself. Okay, so now is our time where you guys can share your comments. You can share your experiences, particularly if you've had successes in manifesting money and wealth in your life. Please share those experiences. You can share, what you've been learning as a result of what we're studying together, either what we've studied today or what we've studied in the past. And you also have the opportunity to ask questions again about what we're studying and going through, and questions in relationship to manifesting more money and wealth in your life. So the way to do this, everybody, is you just go ahead and pop off of mute and start sharing, and we'll take the first person who starts speaking and then move on to the next person and so forth. So now's your opportunity to share whatever it is you'd like to share, or ask whatever questions you'd like to ask. So go ahead and go.
I have a question, Kevin.
Okay.
So my question is, so obviously this group is called I Want to Get, thank you, I Want to Get Really Rich.
Uh-huh.
So daily I've been thinking, oh, I'm a rich man, money works for me. I don't work for money. But I'm also trying to get a higher paying job. For instance, I'm trying to get this $25 hour job. Am I limiting myself by thinking that, or should I just continue to think bigger?
Do you have a specific job that you found out about that you think that you're going to be offered, or tell me a little more about the job situation first.
Well, I found this job and I applied for it, and
Okay.
I'm just trying to get somewhere in that pay level.
Yeah, that's fine. So I know you weren't with us when we were in the Science of Getting Rich, but when we were studying that, it basically is talking about focusing on what it is you really want. If something comes into your life that will advance you a little bit further than where you are, then if it feels inspired to do it, it may be your stepping stone to get to where you really want to get to. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to move on up. Like, what's the most money you've made at a job per hour?
19.
Okay. So obviously 25 would be a step forward, right? And it would feel a little bit different as far as, how that would affect your life. Ultimately, I would say that your focus is on, when I talked about that morning focus of, and your evening and midday focus of what it is you really want, that's what you're going to do at those times, is focus on the ultimate life that you really would like to have. Okay. But it's okay to take a little bit of time and see yourself doing, actually being offered that job? And what would you do if you were offered that job, right? If you know, is it a work from home situation or is it an office you would be going to?
It's a restaurant. Oh, it's not. It's like a hospital. In
Okay, so you would be going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Have you been there before?
I have,
You have or you haven't?
I have not.
Okay. If they're not on full lockdown, okay, I don't know what it's like where you're at. If they're not on full lockdown, you could, and it's not too far away, you could go to the place and actually imagine yourself as if you already have the job working there
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool.
and get a feel for what it would be like, this, and see yourself go do it. But then that's easier to visualize yourself having that job. Anything you could do to make it more vivid and more emotionally attached to you, the better off you're going to be for it. But that doesn't mean you're giving up on your ultimate dreams.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you're waiting for the first time you get paid, $100,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to do anything till that happens, that may not be how God unfolds this to you. It may be unfolded in steps, and you don't know who it is that you're going to meet while you're there that might help you forward what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or somebody that you might be able to serve and help and make a difference in their life as to where they might want to reciprocate to you.
Okay.
Cool.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any additional questions or comments, or both?
Yeah. Good.
Go ahead. Is it Michael?
I pronounce it Mikkel, but that's okay.
Mikkel. Okay. Hi, Mikkel.
How are you, Kev?
Terrific.
So, Kev, talk about staying focused. So I'm probably at a different stage than the prior caller. I'm an attorney. I've owned real estate, but I haven't broken the 7-figure mark. The 6-figure mark was a given when I got out of law school.
Okay.
And I find myself going in a direction, and if I have some success, I'll keep going in that direction. When I don't get the success in the time frame that I want, sometimes I have difficulty staying focused and staying diligent at it. When at my core, I know if I do, there's something good that can come out of it, whether it's real estate investment or wholesaling or other things that I do. I just have a dickens of a time just staying diligent for an extended period of time. And all the guys that I'm around that have been extremely successful have done it, year in and year out. And that's what got them to the point. It's not like I don't know. I just don't know why I fall short.
Okay. I do. and I've helped quite a few people, especially in the real estate investing world, that so what you're telling you, obviously you've had some success and you're just not where you want to be, right? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens is we have within us a thermostat, not a literal, okay, but it's a program, and we have a thermostat that is set to a certain level of income. And again, I won't, when I say a certain level, it's not like you can go in and it's $12.97, right? But we have what we have been programmed to be used to. Okay. And without changing that program, when we step out and go after goals that we have that are higher than that, if we don't change the programming at the same time, there's some things that are going to happen. So when you think of a thermostat, right, what is the thermostat designed to do? Well, in your car or in your home, it's to keep things in a range of temperature, right? You set your AC for a certain level, and or you set your heater for a certain level. And when it starts to get too hot, the AC kicks on and brings it back close to the level. When it starts to get too cold, same thing, right? And it keeps you in this range, and that's what your thermostat is designed to do. Your subconscious mind, and this will happen even to people making more money than you, it's just a different spot. But it happens to everybody, okay? Just at different levels based on what got programmed in. I'm not going to go into a lot of like where it came from. It doesn't matter. The program is the program. That's what matters at the moment. So what will happen sometimes for people that are smart, and most people, right? But I mean, skilled, smart, all the stuff that you understand about real estate, because you're going, I know the same stuff this guy does or gal, but they've got this result and mine's not there.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you have these conversations with yourself, like more degrees, more experience. Where am I going wrong?
Right. So first of all, good to know that they are where they are, because it helps you actually go, well, somebody else is there, therefore I should do. It also is
Absolutely.
frustrating, but it's also frustrating. Okay. In that manner. And I went through the exact same thing at one point. What needs to happen is your subconscious mind has that program in there because that's what it thinks is just normal. And what your subconscious mind is designed to do is two different things. One, it's designed to keep you safe and keep you alive. Okay. And its definition of safety, subconscious mind doesn't determine good, bad, right, or wrong. Understand that. It doesn't actually make decisions. It doesn't decide good, bad, right, or wrong. It just accepts what it thinks to be normal. Matter of fact, if you were to take, instead of Webster's dictionary, you were to take the dictionary that the subconscious mind reads, and it says, what is safety? It'll say, see what's normal. And then you go look up what's normal, and it's going to say, well, it's what's normal for this person. Right? So it does that. The other thing it does, which is awesome, is it's also designed to help us master things so we can put them on autopilot. Okay. Tying our shoes, right? Driving our car, multiple, all these things that we can do. Like if I said 3 times 9, what is that?
27.
Right. 4 times 6.
24.
Right. I could throw out anything up to about 12 times 12 and boom, 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 boom. Right. I go beyond that, you'll be able to do it. We all can, but we might take out a piece of paper, or we might mentally put a board up, or we might write it down, but we'll get the answer, right?
Yeah.
If nothing else, we'll go to the calculator, but
Absolutely.
we know where to get the answer. But we spit these other things out because they've become automatic. That is your subconscious mind mastering something.
Sure.
And that's why what it's designed to do is help us progress. We master something, it now becomes our autopilot, and then we move forward. So everything it accepts that way through repetition, we master, becomes autopilot. But so do all those suggestions. So somewhere a suggestion came in to you about this is an income level and a lifestyle that is normal for me. So your subconscious mind has now said that's the temperature we're set at. Okay. So what do you got to do? You've got to actually convince your subconscious mind that that is not normal. Because again, it doesn't say good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is decided that that's what's normal. I'll give you, is this your first time on with us? First time I
Yes,
really
it is.
see your face? Okay.
Yes, it is.
So I'll keep my story short, but when I came across this type of information and got the training and coaching that I needed and wanted, I was making $5,000 to $6,000 a month, and I was working 50, 60 hours a week. But through reprogramming myself with help, okay, it wasn't just me trying to figure it all out on my own. I got some help with it. After I got that help, my income jumped from $5,000 to $6,000 a month within 3 months. So the first 3 months of the year, 4 months of the year, my income was $5,000, $6,000 a month. From April through the end of the year, I averaged out my income. It wasn't like a straight number. It was like I had an $88,000 month. But when I averaged it out, it turned out to $50,000 a month. So essentially, I almost 10x'd my income.
Right.
The other thing that happened is instead of working at the time 50, 60 hours a week any longer, the time that it took to receive that income jumped all the way down to about 15 hours a week. So I went from 50, 60 hours a week down to 15 hours a week. And I went from $5,000, $6,000 a month to an average of $50,000 a month, because my thermostat got changed and my subconscious finally decided that's what's normal. Now, interesting, what had happened too is I watched other people getting results doing different things. Once the programming changed and my thermostat became different, all the stuff I knew how to do became more effective. So here's the cool part. All your degrees, all your experience with real estate, all that it's not wasted. Okay. It just is going to multiply its effect strictly because your subconscious mind is not battling against you anymore. It's actually trying to help you get there. And by the way, when I'm talking about myself, this goes back to, this was April of 2006, April 1st. My last day I ever worked for anybody was March 31st of 2006. From that day till today, I still don't work. If I really have had a busy week in the last 15 years, it's about 20 hours.
Wow.
So what you have to look forward to is go, okay, what I need to do is not learn more about how to do real estate or be a better attorney or all the cool things you've done so far. What you got to do is go, okay, we need to change the thermostat there. And once the thermostat's changed, your subconscious mind has its job, which is to take whatever it thinks is normal for you and go out and make sure it happens.
Okay.
So we convince the subconscious mind that such and such is normal. Subconscious mind finally agrees with that. Then the subconscious mind becomes your best friend. You turn into almost like Superman. You're like,
Okay.
why was this so much easier now than it was for the past X number of years?
Okay.
And if you want to reach out and have a conversation with me about that, I'll give you my email address and we can talk one-on-one if you like.
Absolutely.
So it's just my name. Just throw the word coach in front of it. So it's Coach Kevin Sparks at gmail.com.
At Gmail. Absolutely. I appreciate it.
And just remind me of our conversation so I know who it is. And by the way, I just gave everybody my email. That's fine. Okay.
Yep.
What I don't want people doing is spamming me about whatever opportunities or things they're trying to do.
Yep.
Use it for what it's meant for. You know,
Sure.
my profession is I'm a coach.
Yep.
Right. Cool. All right.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Who else has any questions or comments right now?
Hey, Kevin, this is Stephanie.
Hey, hi, Stephanie.
Hi. So I just had two comments. One was, and they kind of go in line with one another. Ever since joining this group, you know, the law of vibration has just been like smacking me in the face almost daily, and it's hysterical and not surprising to me because I understand exactly what you're talking about. It's applying it and changing that mindset. So I'm excited to be working with you. But also, because of today's reading, I just was flipping through Netflix last night and I saw a documentary on, it's called Healing, for anyone that has an account and wants to watch it. Completely in line with everything you read today. So once again, there's that, you know, law of vibration. I'm flipping through and see this thing. It's like, wow, I could be talking to Kevin right now instead of watching this video. It's so in line with everything that we're discussing. So those were just my two comments. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you, Stephanie. And nice to have you as a new client. Okay.
How you doing, Kevin?
Hey,
I'm Daquan. This is my second time on the group.
hey,
Hope
Daquan.
everything's well. So I want to surely elaborate on that thermostat concept you used. That's pretty good because I heard it from Ed Milet, I believe. Ed Milet.
Yeah.
So he was saying something about the thermostat with the subconscious mind. When you turn on the thermostat you set it to a certain type, like room temperature. If
Right.
it goes past there, always try to get back to that program, to that 70 degrees, wherever you got it set at, right? So that's basically how the subconscious mind is. And what's the guy in that first talk? Mikhail? Yeah, Mikhail, on the question he asked, I kind of got a comment for that too. It kind of relate to that when it comes to like, because I go through it a lot when it comes to like manifesting things. Like it maybe seem like things not happening, but like, you know, like that, honestly, this how I know my manifestation is close. When a lot of things start smacking me in my face. When a lot of things start going wrong, when a lot of things not going my way, I know my manifestation is on the way. Seriously, because that's because you got to get that uncomfortability, that growth to be prepared for that next level. You're never going to get there. That's why your subconscious and the universe send you through that challenge and everything. But a lot of people hit that and just quit, be like, oh man, it's not going to work. You know, have that doubt. So definitely, what is your idea? What is a method that you could, that like people that don't know about the law of attraction, like just getting their foot in the door about, you know, manifesting things? What do you say to them on how to be patient when it comes to things, diversity hitting you and preparing you for that next step?
Well, first of all, we have to explain more about how things work. And they have to be open to that because as you become aware of how the universe operates, and so it's not a 5-minute discussion. Once you start to understand that there are laws that are always in effect and they always work, that's not what we're used to. When we hear the word law, we think of a few different things, and because we do everything by association, right? It's based on our experience and it's based upon what a word means to us. Like a law to somebody and a law to another person, a law to one person might mean, oh crap, the cop's here. I better go. To somebody else, it means something different, right? But when we're talking in terms of law, we have to not see things the way the world sees them. So we're better off utilizing an example like gravity, meaning whether you understand it or not, it's in effect. And we can always count on it. The only reason airplanes can fly is they're also using a law called the law of aerodynamics in conjunction with the law of gravity to make things work and to get something that weighs thousands of pounds hurling through the sky, right? There's propulsion, there's aerodynamics, and there's gravity. So those are three different laws that have to be put into effect in order for that airplane to fly. But if you put those into effect, the airplane always flies, right? But what happens to us is we hear the word law and we think of things like taxes. We think of things like, and by the way, I'm not advocating people don't pay taxes. What I'm advocating is I'm saying if you weren't to pay your taxes on time, somebody's not actually going to show up at your door the next day. You know, there'll be things that would have to go on first. And so we don't have this immediate feedback. The other one is traffic laws, for instance, right? Every person I know of who's driven for any length of time in anything has broken them.
Mhm.
On purpose or not on purpose, just because we're on autopilot. Our subconscious is taking us from one place to another, and we're doing our thing. We're actually pretty safe because we're subconscious now. We're safer subconscious than we were when we were younger trying to figure it out. But once we're at so the speed limit can be 55 and we're up at 70, right? And we catch ourselves and we slow down and we look around and there's nobody there, right? And then sometimes we're like, you know what, we're in a really cool car. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 1 second. And we hit the gas for the fun and the rush and everything else. And we know we're breaking the law for about 13 seconds. And then we know we're going to be back down to the speed limit. And we actually choose to break the law.
Mhm.
And it seems like when we do get a ticket, it's usually when we weren't trying to break the law. we
Yeah.
were breaking a law. But here's my point about this, right? We use law, and our friend is a lawyer. He has his thoughts on what law means, right? As an attorney. So we think of laws, and when laws don't come right back at us and we don't have an initial immediate consequence for it, we're like, well, then it's not truly, it's not a law. You know, it's a traffic violation. If you get caught, there's a consequence. If you don't get caught, there's no consequence. But the law of attraction doesn't work that way. There's always a consequence. It's like gravity, not like a traffic ticket. Okay. Right? We can't go breaking the laws and just smile and get away with it 9 times out of 10 or 100 out of, 99 out of 100, because we probably have broken them again, sometimes on purpose, but usually not on purpose, over and over and over again. I want to talk a second going back to about the thermostat thing really quick while it's on my mind. Some people try to overcome the thermostat. They don't know the thermostat, so to speak, but they try and overcome it by setting a goal.
Mhm.
My income is X right now, and I want my income to be this, or whatever I do for my job. I've made this many sales, but this time I want to make this many, or I have this many clients, I want to get to this many. And we might, through sheer will, force, and everything, we're going to be worn out at the end of this. Okay. But this year, I'm going to just work my butt off. And instead of making $60,000 a year, I go off and I make $80,000 a year. But I spent no time reprogramming myself.
Mm.
One, I'm going to be worn out. Number two, next year, my subconscious is going to probably bring me back to 60. Or even worse, it's going to bring me down to 40, 45 to offset because I got up to 80 something to bring me back to an average of 60.
Mm.
You guys need to hear this because you set these goals, you work your butt off and you have some success and you're like, whew, and you're tired and everything, but you're smiling because you met your goal. And then you wonder why you've had success for maybe 1 or 2 years. And then boom, zip, you're right down back to where you used to be, because your subconscious programming did not change. And so your thermostat is still set. It's eventually going to bring you back to whatever it thinks is normal for you. So if you make a move and you make your move forward without reprogramming yourself, that move forward, unfortunately, can be short-lived. And talk about frustration at that point. That's about as frustrating as it gets, because it's like, I used to be, so I had that year where I da da da, and then I haven't been able to do it ever again since then. That is really frustrating. So understand that your subconscious, 95 to 97% of your life is subconscious anyway. You are meant to progress, put things into mastery, and then get them onto autopilot, like the ABCs, like tying your shoe, like driving a car, like the multiplication tables. And when you do that for money and wealth, health, or anything else, once that is on autopilot, you don't stop working on yourself, but you don't have to work nearly as hard on that. You just have to not let the outside world come back in and tell you, because the outside world's going to tell you everything and anything that is going to be in opposition to what it is you really want. Unfortunately, it's just the way the society has been programmed. If society was programmed any different, the outside results of society would be totally different. So that's how we know what a particular society, what a particular neighborhood, what a particular city or town, the vibe, right? There's always vibes. You can drive into different parts of town. You go, this is a little sketchy. You drive in this part of town, ooh, this is ritzy, this is posh. There's a vibration. It's not just because people have money, one or the other. There's a feeling that goes along with things, and we are in vibration. And so when it doesn't feel good to us, we feel like, then we know we're not in vibration with that. And when it feels good to us, the problem is if is Burger King versus Ruth's Chris, and you want Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, not a Burger King burger. If you're really comfortable with only Burger King, you're not likely going to live the lifestyle of somebody who could eat out of Ruth's Chris.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Can I elaborate on what you just said about the environment?
If you like to, sure, I'll stay for. And by the way, anybody that needs to leave, 100% get it. This will be recorded. It'll be put into the group, and you'll have access to it. I'm going to stick around a little while longer because I'm having fun, and we've got some questions and comments and answers. So stick around as long as you need to, but if you got to go, totally understand. Okay. I'm not holding anybody hostage.
Now, when it comes to the environment, like, of course, like, there's plenty of self-made millionaires, Oprah Winfrey, some people that grew up in poverty-strict environments, poor and everything like that, that's very wealthy now, so, and I'm quite sure it was plenty of more other poor people in their environment that didn't make it like she made it, so when it comes to the environment, a lot of people think, okay, the environment just knocks everybody down altogether, but it's powerful because all the collective energy, but it really, the environment only as good to the individuals who make it up, not the collective, the individuals, because it could be one individual negative, one individual positive. They're going to completely repeal.
Yeah.
And what is your intake on that when it comes to things like that?
Well, make your own environment. That would be, if nothing else, in your own imagination, because almost all of these people imagined and visualized themselves having a different life than what was all around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they got to where their subconscious mind accepted that would be normal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 100%.
Once they accept that, it'll help them get it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a for instance. You guys can see right now I got a little extra chin and stuff like that, right? So, and I'm not Oprah, okay? So I'm not on her level financially. But let's just use Oprah as an example, because since you brought her up, right? Is she wealthy from a financial standpoint?
Absolutely.
Does she have influence?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, right? She could essentially almost by herself get somebody elected or not elected to whatever. She could take somebody's business and overnight make them a multimillionaire from startup, just because she promotes somebody, right?
Right.
So she has all these things about herself. But one thing that she has struggled with is weight, on and off for almost her entire life, right? And she has her reasons in the essence, a life that she lived in abuse and stuff like that, all these things that happen. So, but it's a subconscious program. And what Oprah hadn't realized yet, and like if I'm coaching Oprah, right? Or maybe she does, but all the things that brought her what she currently has that she's successful at, it's the same thing that needs to happen in her programming around her weight for that to happen.
Mhm.
Okay. Once she subconsciously accepts that whatever it is she wants is normal for her, just like the wealth and everything else, the subconscious mind will get to work to try and help her get it. But she actually has to see and feel herself the way she wants to be in order for it to happen.
Yeah.
She's been able to do it. So what I would say is that when you look at people, don't judge them in a sense. If they're really good at something, here's what you can tell yourself. Their subconscious program is in alignment with that. And if they're failing in a different area, it's because their subconscious mind is in opposition to that right now.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked your
But you can-
commentary about the about environment. As you said, you see yourself in a different area. You know, I'm an inner city kid. Undergrad, I went to Georgetown, and there were guys growing up who, you know, took different paths. They were selling drugs, they were stealing cars. But I worked at a golf course and got a chance to see the life that the members there lived. They were doctors and lawyers, and so I'm a young kid. I'm a caddy, and I said, "What do you do?" "I'm a lawyer." "What do you do?" "I'm an accountant." "What do you do?" "I'm an engineer." So I go to law school, I can live like this. And that was it. Yeah, I stayed focused. I got to Georgetown, guys were doing crazy things, drugs, partying. No way. If I mess this up, I'm going back to Newark. And I just had that vision. I'm never going back. And I never went back. And years later, I actually bought a home in the town where I wound up working in. But it was just looking at something better than where I was living at the time. I grew up inner city.
Mhm. So you programmed your subconscious mind accepted that that was normal for you and it helped it. Not saying you didn't go through work, you worked, okay, but it was helping you instead of fighting you
Yeah.
more, right? And
Yeah.
it put you into an environment to see something different than what you were used to.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that allowed your faith to grow and to also go, okay, I don't life for the entire world isn't like that, like where I'm at. There's people, other places throughout the world doing different things. And now what you accepted, which is cool, you just didn't fully understand the programming, law of attraction, this stuff. What you did is you had what we talked about today, though, is you had faith that if you followed in the same footsteps that these people did, that you could have something similar to what they have. And that's just exactly what happened for you. And
Yeah.
Georgetown isn't somewhere where, you know, Georgetown is one of the top ones, right? There's things related. So there were things that guided you to do what you did, and you had faith in that process.
Yeah.
And that allowed you, and you knew that the average incomes of these people you met were probably whatever those incomes happen to be. And so you figured, here's what we all do, guys and gals, okay? We look at our example, whoever we said is that example, right? If we go to a seminar and we see the speaker at the front of the room, or we have somebody in our neighborhood or whatever, we look at the example of something that we would like to do, or have, and we judge. Doesn't matter that we don't want to judge. We do. We just flat do. So let's just accept that. But here's how we judge. Okay. If there's 100 people, there's going to be somewhere around 2 or 3 people that'll say, hey, if so-and-so could do that, I'm going to kill it. Like if they could make, you know, $500,000, I'm going to make at least 3 million. I'm going to knock it out of the park because they're nothing. Yeah. Now, some people talk that way and they do nothing. That's not what I mean. I mean, when they literally think if they can do it, I can do better. And then there's going to be a certain number of people out there. They're going to be, if they can do it, I can do it. Right? If so-and-so could accomplish it, so could I. If these people can become attorneys and do this, and this is their lifestyle, I could do that too. And we believe that. And then and maybe head for the top tier of those attorneys. And then there's going to be another group of people that go, well, if so-and-so can, if Mikhail can do this, I can at least. Have you ever heard that?
Right.
Have you ever done that? All of us have. If they could do this, I can at least do this. And I would tell you that that's our programming, but I would tell you to change it, not necessarily to the, I'm going to kill it, you know, be better than they are, because we don't want to be competitive in this. But hey, if they could do it, I could do it, because there's nothing anybody else has that I don't have the ability to do too, if I want to do it. I have the ability to learn. I have the ability to see what's going on. And I just have to accept that there's some things I'm unaware of and don't know right now. But once I become aware and know those things and have mastered those things, I'll be able to do what they do.
And I think it took some maturing. I will not say that I embraced it immediately.
Yeah.
I
of course
think when I first got there was mixed ambivalence. I, had never had that exposure before. And now I see this lifestyle and I say, wow, why do these people have so much and I have so little? So I went through that period, and then somehow, I don't know, what epiphany or whatever, something happened where the mindset changed. Well, if they have it, so can I. But at least the first onset was, I'm doing doubles, I'm doing all this stuff. These guys have so much, they don't even recognize just how wonderful the life, the young kids there who work as
Sure.
carriers too, members' children, but they just seemed ambivalent to whatever they had. I'm like, you don't understand, I'm here for survival. But then I went through the period where I recognized, you know what, forget that. I'm going to get what these guys do.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Cool.
Around it too. That's even better. You
Yeah.
like, and you get in that environment in the law school and everything, and you're around these individuals. Like if you're around 5 alcoholics, most likely you're gonna be coming to 6. Right?
There you go.
You're plenty of other individuals that's successful, even though at first, of course, your program is envy, of course, sometimes. Like when you first go in there, like, okay,
Absolutely.
but then once you get in, you start knowing these people, get to know them. Because most of the time, when you from a poverty-stricken area, what you think? Most people think rich people are assholes. People with money, excuse my language, I'm sorry. Rich, people with money or buttheads or they evil or something like that. So a lot of people got this weird relationship with money. And anytime, anything you're indifference towards will be indifference towards you, I promise you. So people, these rich people, all this stuff like that, they will never be rich, for the most, because they so envious to it. And even if they do get a lot of money, like plenty of people that hit the lottery been broke the next 2 or 3 years because they're say the thermostat. They back that they kind of feel like they deserve it sometimes too, until they really get to that program. They really feel like you don't deserve it. That's why they really just, I guess that's why it runs away from them. And it's 3 levels to everything to me. It's a spiritual level, psychological level, and a material level. Get it on the first level first, or the first 2 levels, and you'll have it on the material level.
Yeah.
So that's how I go about life. And they've been working out for the last 4 or 5 years for me like that.
I understand.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I hope and I totally understand if you guys aren't here with me the next 2 days, but I'll be here. But here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock, San Diego time. That's the area I'm in. It's the San Diego area.
No worries.
Whatever time you hopped on, that was the right time. I'll be here Mondays through Fridays. And I even talked to my wife today, and I'm like, that's when I said, hey, you know what, I'm going to do this for Christmas. And she's like, okay, cool.
I enjoyed it. I certainly will take advantage of it.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank
Again,
you.
reach out if you'd like to talk some more. Reach out by email and we could do that. And you guys all have, I'll say it now in case I don't see you the next couple of days. Everybody have a merry and blessed Christmas holiday.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Kevin, thank
Have a good
you.
one.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody. Happy holidays.